What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to OperaAnna. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna. I am an opera singer and I am here to opera up your life. And for the first time ever, I am here to opera up your life with a special guest. Please welcome my dear friend and singing teacher, Chelsea Bonagura. Bring. Welcome, Chelsea.
This is very exciting to be here. I can't believe I'm on OperaAnna. I am Chelsea Bonagura, and I am a singer and as well as a vocal technician. And I am a teaching protege of DIana Soviero.
We'll get to that in a second because Diana is our soprano for today. So Chelsea is my teacher of the past, I want to say two
or 3 years.
Yeah, two to three, on and off, like not every week. In my head, a singing teacher is like every week because that's what we did in conservatory. But
I have all sorts of arrangements with people. I specialize in old school technique, bel canto, Garcia. So it's very fitting that we're talking about Diana today.
So today we are looking at the aria Senza Mamma from Suor Angelica. It's the second one-act opera in the triptych from Giacomo Puccini that includes Il Tabarro, Suor Angelica, and Gianni Schicchi. We've looked at Gianni Schicchi before with the aria O mio bambino caro. I saw some of you commenting bambino. I'm going to come for you.
No bambinos.
Bambino. Okay. We are going to be only looking at Diana today because we have a bit of a Diana expert here with us. And we might have Diana Soviero herself. So, Chelsea, you studied with Diana Soviero.
Yes. Well, oh my gosh. I can definitely say that Diana Soviero changed my life in so many ways. She was very famous and all these things, but I know her as like, you know, my second mom. What was most extraordinary, I think, in working with her was, of course, getting the training myself, but I sat and observed her for many years as her assistant, essentially her teaching assistant, protege. And that's where I really, really learned what the heck is this old school technique that everyone's talking about? What are we doing here? And why haven't I learned this yet before in my life? I come from a very modern pedagogical, way of singing. Sure, I learned a lot of technique from her, but I also learned how to inhabit my body in a different way. And it really changed my voice, and it's helped me change a lot of other voices. And the thing that's amazing about Diana, I mean, there's a million things. She is 83 and she can still sing. And that is not an exaggeration. High C's, just sitting in her chair demonstrating, 82 years old.
Crazy. But okay, so Senza Mamma, Suor Angelica, have you looked at this role before? I feel like it would like...
You know, it's funny. It's been marinating a little bit. It's in the realm of possibilities. But no, I haven't really looked at the role in depth. I have, I've taught the aria a million times.
Guys, if you haven't seen this opera before, Suor Angelica, it's not that long. There are a lot of different recordings online that you need to go check out. I myself have sung a role.
I was like, Suor Angelica? What?
No, what did I sing? I'm not even sure she has a name. Hold on, let me get it.
No named none.
Oh, Le Due Converse. I was one of the people who at the beginning, one of the nuns, one of the sisters or whatever, who is late to service at the beginning.
Typecasting. Actually, no, I shouldn't say anything. No, Anna is on time for everything.
No, it's also not true.
I tend to run late.
No, but it was my first pay to sing. I mean, this was ages ago, so I can't say I like have any type of insight into the opera through this. Although I do remember that the Suor Angelica trained in her voice lessons that she had at the program, like for 2 weeks straight, just flat on her stomach, because that's how the director wanted her to sing like the whole aria.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Flat on her stomach.
Yeah, she was lying like in a cross on the floor on her stomach.
And like head sideways?
With her head to the side.
Oh.
No.
That does not sound ideal for
this
vocal
aria.
production. No. Oh, that's an interesting take.
It was a thing.
Okay.
Before we dive in, before we start talking about too much of what happens in the actual aria itself, let's have a little context. Like I said, Suor Angelica is a one-act opera from the triptych or trilogy. I'm not even sure if
Trittico.
But is trilogy the same as a triptych? Or is trilogy something else?
I have always thought of them as being synonymous, but this is a very
I
good
wanted
question.
to write down trilogy, and then with trilogy, my boyfriend is a big Lord of the Rings fan, and I was like, is that a special word? I don't know anymore. Regardless, all three of the operas in this triptych have their own theme. So Il Tabarro, which means the cloak, is tragic. Suor Angelica is lyrical, whatever that means. That is from the librettist's mouth himself.
Also tragic.
It's also tragic.
So tragic.
I'm not really sure how those two things actually differ.
Yeah.
And Gianni Schicchi is comic.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Need some levity with Gianni Schicchi.
So the idea to have compose all three arias and have them be performed one after the other was actually the librettist idea of Suor Angelica and Gianni Schicchi. He didn't write the libretto for Il
Mentre
Tabarro.
componeva il Tabarro io ebbi un'idea che a Puccini piacque moltissimo. Gli dissi, maestro, perché invece di fare un'opera in un atto che poi dovrebbe essere unita ad opere di altri autori per finire la serata, lei non compone 3 opere in un atto, una di soggetto drammatico, il Tabarro, una di soggetto lirico e una di soggetto comico. L'idea gli piacque moltissimo.
Giovacchino Forzano, God, I love saying that. He presented the idea of Suor Angelica to Puccini, not knowing that Puccini's sister was a nun.
I love a good story
Right?
like that.
So his sister, Igenia, if anyone knows how to pronounce that, I'll put it here. You can let me know. Igenia was Mother Superior at the time that Giacomo Puccini composed this opera and was one of the first people to hear this opera when he came to play it for her in the convent and among her the nuns. Apparently they were moved to tears, which doesn't surprise me in the least. Like that
tracks.
That tracks.
That tracks.
So unsurprisingly, this opera became a favorite of Puccini quite quickly. The public really liked Gianni Schicchi. Like, Suor Angelica was not the favorite of the public, but Puccini himself said that he would willingly trade all of Gianni Schicchi for just one note of Suor Angelica. So guys, if you haven't seen this opera, like, I give you permission to stop the video. Don't close the tab. Stop the video, go watch it, and come back.
Yeah, it's only, what, an hour, basically?
Yeah, it's an hour, like 10-ish. Yeah, it's really short.
Could do it on a lunch break.
Sure. What type of lunch breaks are you taking?
What is a lunch break?
Literally.
Excuse me.
So, as we get into the opera, Suor Angelica is a nun of 7 years. And from the outset of the opera, she has, for my feeling, a very kind of guarded personality, guarded like way about her, as opposed to some of the other nuns in the story who are very outright with what they, offer up and that type of thing. She's been there probably a bit longer than all of them, so she's a little bit comfortable. She doesn't need to like prove herself. She's not trying to be a cool kid on the convent block, you know what I mean? She's also the one that the nuns seek out when something goes wrong. One of the nuns gets stung by a bee, and Suor Angelica is the one who knows how to mix some flowers and make a paste and do the things, and it helps with the pain.
She's lived a life, Suor Angelica.
Yeah. How old do you think she is?
That's a great question. We can't, I'm not really sure, but I've just, you think of somebody, she must have gone through a lot to have been in the situation that she was in.
Yeah, I mean, because she is here, another part of the context. About 10 minutes into the opera, we learn that Suor Angelica comes from a really rich family, and that she's been waiting for news from her family for all this time because she was sent to the convent as a punishment, basically, because she had a son out of wedlock. So if we think, back in that day, it's in the 17th century, Puccini put it back in time so that it was a little bit less relatable.
Yeah.
And people wouldn't be too, shook up about it, but mission failed.
Didn't do a very good job, Puccini.
No. And also, what a weird decision to make as a composer. I feel like he's actively trying to make people relate to it less.
That is very
to make it less
interesting,
controversial,
actually.
perhaps.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can't know really, but taking it out of time essentially to make it relatable, but not maybe so triggering.
So triggering,
or,
yeah.
you know.
They didn't use that word back then, but
No, they didn't.
The information that we get about Suor Angelica really comes a lot from the outside. There's the other nuns talking about her, that she's from this richer family, and she doesn't. I feel like in a lot of other operas, we're presented with the information from the character themselves, as they're like, well, they very unnaturally start their recitative, like, well, it's been 7 years.
Yeah. 407 years ago.
And I'm like, guys, I read it in the notes. Like, I don't need to know this.
Exactly. A lot of exposition.
Yeah. But that doesn't happen here. It's really like it's coming from other characters.
I kind of like that.
I do too.
Yeah, it's
much more natural storytelling.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. A visitor comes to the convent, and lo and behold, it is the Zia Principessa, the aunt of Suor Angelica, great aunt. It's her aunt, who comes to tell her that her sister is getting married and she needs to sign away her inheritance so that her sister can receive it. For all intents and purposes, just breaking the rest of the contact that she didn't have in the first place with her family. The last thread is kind of being unraveled. Suor Angelica is just begging her for information about her son, and her aunt informs her very reluctantly that her son died a year or two prior, and really just destroys Suor Angelica's will to live, both literally and figuratively. Later in the opera, after Senza Mamma, I shouldn't tell you because I don't want to spoil it, but okay, spoiler alert, skip forward. She decides to take her own life with the very flowers that she has been using to save others. Ugh. Irony.
My gosh.
Just talking about it.
Like we said earlier, thank God for Johnny's Kiki.
Yeah, really.
Could you imagine leaving at the end of this? Just, okay.
And it's really every time, like, I know this opera well, and then I see it, and I'm like, well, I wonder if they'll bring the kid out at the end, and like how they'll do that, and then every time, just.
But isn't that really also the power of storytelling?
Absolutely.
Too? Is to put you in this frame of mind that, no, it's going to be different this time, and then they just destroy you.
You just hope that it's going to be like, oh, maybe she won't actually because that is one of the things about this opera, is that they can decide to either bring the child that comes back at the end. It's really supposed to be this kind of vision that she has of her child, who's, she's been talking about him. He's an angel now, and he's welcoming her to heaven type of idea. But I've seen some. I
don't even have children. I'm like, how? That, like, oh gosh.
I've seen some productions where like the Tia, the aunt, comes in with her, so you know that it's real. So the aunt lied, and you're just like, oh my god, like Jerry Springer just entered the chat,
Jerry, what is happening?
She's not gonna die in this aria. Before she dies, we get the aria Senza Mamma, Without Your Mother, which Puccini added after the premiere of the opera in New York in 1918 for the premiere in Europe with Gilda della Razza as Suor Angelica. Gilda della Razza, what a name. He also added the aria dei fiori for her, where she's like making the potion. It's just she's just made it, I think. But she didn't want to sing it because it was too difficult, and it was actually omitted from the official version of the score. Literally, come on! Like, he wrote it for you. What are you
doing? Literally for
you.
You know what?
And then left it out of the score. Like, how? I don't understand. Anyway, so we'll look at that one another day. But today, Senza Mamma, and as I said before, the singer we're looking at exclusively today is soprano DIana Soviero. Are you ready?
Yes. What are we doing now? What's the next part of this?
So without further ado, Senza Mamma.
I've probably watched this clip like 8,000 times.
looking at Puccini arias most of the time because there's no place to stop. It's so beautifully like composed through that that any time you stop, it's just gonna be annoying. So I apologize in advance. I don't know why, but whenever I watch people sing this, they had never have the same kind of like legato line that she has. It's just all such one thing.
There's an expression in sort of old school technique called si parla si canta, right? And the singing is essentially an extension of the speaking. And so what's interesting here, also from a technical perspective, is that she's singing very much in her instrument. And this is something that we don't necessarily always see a lot of in modern pedagogy, modern technique. And so it makes it so that everything is super, super, super close to her and super, super, super efficient. And that is one of the things that really aids in this just stunning thread of air, this legato line that is just uninterrupted.
Feels really like she's painting it, you know what I mean?
You know what she used to say to people in the studio, because I've also watched her coach this aria a million times. She would say she's embroidering, right? So she's and you have this like beautiful image, and not painting, not it's this fine little right, this weaving and with a needle and a thread. And I think that's just such an apt image to think about.
I love that.
Yeah. And one thing too, also in when I've seen her coach this, she would tell the students about all the physicality of wearing a habit, right? So she notoriously, in preparing for roles, would, to the last detail, with the costume, with, how she's truly an actress, how would a nun walk? How would a geisha walk? Because she played Butterfly. That was one of her other signature roles. She spent so much time researching the physicality of what the character, how the character inhabited their bodies.
Yeah. Was that ever something that started to inhibit the singing, or was it that was what she was finding?
Not whatsoever. I think it helped. Well, DIana is somebody who's always been very much in her body. She is just such a feeler. She's so intuitive. She's just, that's one of the biggest things I learned from her, because I'm a very cerebral person. But no, I think that it helped connect everything together.
Interesting.
And so the physicality was never a hindrance because it was authentic and it was organic. It wasn't some posture or position that she was artificially adding.
That comes across so much in this, like, she's just sitting there.
Exactly.
And it's so simple.
Exactly.
And I find, people just sitting there, like, happens sometimes in other productions, but it never feels like as authentic. She's just like, it looks so...
It's a profound simplicity.
Yes.
Right? It's this idea that it's simple, not because what she's doing is simple, because it's all, the years and the preparation and how she is as a person coming out into this one.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Thing.
And I love this intro as well. You have this, just a couple chords, just a sort of triad type of thing. But there's this really strange instrument in it called the cor anglais, which gives it this kind of like timbre.
It's a fragility.
It's very fragile.
Yeah.
It's a kind of oboe, but it's like darker toned and more melancholic to my ear. It just has this kind of like, that's the word that came to my mind. I feel like Puccini might also have that association, because why else would you mix it in with like flutes?
Yeah, it adds like an extra sort of
yes.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, because I think it's fragility, but it's also like earth-shattering, and like she's not just sad, she's devastated, right? So there's this extra
well, there's this extra color in it, and then even though these chords right at the beginning are quite high in the register, sort of, they don't have a lot of like grounding.
They're very hollow.
They're very hollow, and then he brings in the grounding or the foreshadowing or whatever, however you want to look at it later, with just like, I'll point it out, but these single bass notes, and it's like, oh my god,
it's very penetrating.
It's crazy. Okay, let's just watch that again, because now we're talking about the beginning, and we'll go a little bit further.
Aesthetic.
especially you hear it really in the lower.
Little portamento right into that first note. Not afraid of chest ones.
We're gonna talk about that for sure. Okay.
Oh my god, I can't. If I actually make it through this without crying, I'll be shocked already.
There's just so much. Okay, there's just so much happening, and I want to talk about both like technique and interpretation.
Yeah.
The reason that I wanted, besides the fact that like she's hilarious and amazing and a great technician and knows Diana, I don't really ever talk about technique on the channel because I don't think I have the. How do I want to say this? I still feel like I'm like swimming in an ocean of what the fuck am I doing half the time.
I felt like that for a really long time. It's normal. It's so normal. It's so normal.
So I don't like to talk about other people singing. I can if it's like really wrong, then I'm like, well, this is clear.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna like talk about. And I, especially for something like this, to be able to get like, you know how she explains it to people, like what she's thinking probably.
And something I'd like to add too is that, at least I believe, and I think Diana would say the same thing, we never like to talk about technique just for technique's sake. The technique is always meant to serve the music. Right? So it's a symbiotic relationship, I believe, that one informs the other, right? So we can have intention that informs the technique, or we can have technique that informs the intention and the character. And oftentimes they can be one and the same. That I think is the goal. That's the idea. So it's not that we want to train, robots.
Right.
The technique is also profoundly simple, right? Simple it is not, but it's efficient, but profoundly simple. And I think I think what she embodies so much is this beautiful symbiosis of the two.
I think I think a lot of singers, a lot of performers even can speak to that or have that experience that, something just is not working in the rehearsal space.
Yeah.
And through the adrenaline, by kind of letting yourself go a little bit and like allowing yourself to feel more in the moment instead of purely thinking like, oh, it's a high C or whatever it may be.
Right.
Then you're like, oh, well, it actually went much better than that's the best I've ever sung it or something. And it's like
you're not inhibiting yourself sometimes or self-sabotage. We all do it. It's very normal. And I think it's important to have a technical foundation, because that is the thing that will serve you when you're sick, when you're tired, when whatever's going on in your emotional life, or, all these things. We're all artists, And
it can go too far to the other side. There are singers who have made huge careers who are pure feeling.
Yep.
And don't actually know how to sing and then blow their voices straight out.
I mean, Delmonico is one of them in the sense of not that he didn't know how to sing, but that he put everything. Not even 110%, 150%. And it's harrowing and it's amazing, but he burned out more quickly because of that.
Yeah. Still have to look at him like fully on the channel.
Oh, so. I definitely want to come back for that.
Oh, okay.
If I'm invited back. We need to look at his Pagliacci.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a couple. There's one in particular where he's just like almost psychotic, but it's really it's incredible to watch.
I think a lot of people commented him when I did the Vesti la Giubba with Corelli.
Oh yeah, and I mean, Corelli.
Also, just king of everything.
Oh God, that was the other cool thing about Diana is she has song with everybody.
I know.
She literally, we'd sit in lessons and she'd be like, when I did this with Pavarotti, when I did this with, Leonucci, and when I did this, and I'm just like, oh my God.
The hell. I am just pissed that I never got to hear them, much less sing with them. Like,
to have heard them live, I can't imagine.
No.
I die when I hear recordings.
Yes,
literally.
Yes,
and I'm like, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like, because you read, right, that they had like 38 curtain calls or they had whatever it was. That literally happened in Salome. 38.
38. Wow.
Curtain, like,
That's very
what?
operatic.
And at the premiere of this, they had to redo the final scene, I think. They had to redo it. They did an encore of it. He like wrote to his mom. He was like, it was a huge success. It was very cute. How sweet. Cute is that? He like writes to his mom. He's like, it went so well.
Such a good Italian son. Close to his mama.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so back to, we might have to watch it again just to like remind ourselves. We'll play it. I don't have kids. You don't have kids.
We have cats. We don't have kids.
Close enough. But Diana doesn't have kids. She said she has a stepdaughter.
She has a stepdaughter who she's very close with and has been in her life for a very, very long time. So it's interesting to contemplate how could she feel this so deeply, not having had her own children.
And how do we feel it so deeply just watching it? We're not even singing it. And it should be said that, I mean, the music is beautiful. Yeah, of course the music is beautiful. And the story, of course, you're I think also just knowing, whatever relationship you may have with your mother, whatever an audience member has with their mother, like you hear someone singing about the fact that their child died without their mother, and you're just like, well,
you can imagine yourself maybe dying without your mother, like, or you can imagine a family member, an equivalent of, it's just this idea of mortality and that is central to everything.
Yes, it has all these like very like incredibly relatable themes.
Yeah,
but the singer matters because I have seen versions of this that I thought
just doesn't do it.
If this was the first time I was watching it, I would be like, what is this?
Right, why is this so...
this?
And actually that's what happened to me. Before I knew Diana, before I met her, I had known about this opera. I had heard the aria, and I thought, oh, that's nice. I don't know why people talk about it as being so
really
devastating. I mean, of course, it's devastating. Yes, please don't get me wrong. But when I heard her sing it, then I could feel the devastation.
Oh, this aria.
I mean, in particular, Senza Mamma. I always thought, it's a beautiful aria. Oh, very sad. We can all agree that a child dying is very sad. But I didn't feel it in the way that I felt it. And I also feel similarly about her Violetta. It was I've heard Traviata a million times. I've heard a lot of good Violettas. But when I heard her do Violetta and I heard her singing in, when she's dying and Addio del Passato, I was, okay, this is different. I thought this hits very differently.
I'll link that in the description box too.
Yeah.
When we were watching it, you were talking about some technical things, just like
chest voice to head voice. Good memory.
Okay. So we see also in the first line that you said she's not afraid of chest voice. And there are a lot of singers who don't bother going into chest voice there, decide, whatever you want to call it. Because it's on an E, which to my feeling is really high for chest voice. In the context, there's this literal weight to the text and to the music that I'm like, cool. Like that makes a lot of sense that you would go to chest. I think I would have a lot of trouble going into chest there.
Can work on that.
We can work on that. You just talk about how that works technically when you go from chest to head and why you would want to.
Yeah, so being in chest voice can actually really, again, we're talking about this idea of being in your instrument. There's a great clip of Pavarotti answering somebody in a masterclass. Yeah, we'll insert it here.
The sound is formed here in the throat, not here. Here.
Where they say, oh, where do you feel the sensation or whatever? And he said, in the throat, right? In his cute Italian accent. And that is where the voice is, you know, but we're a little scared of that nowadays because if you're unsupported in doing that, then you're going to get something that's maybe like musical theater or a little screamy or a little whatever. Yeah. But we see that when we sit into our instruments and we're close to ourselves and we're hooked up and supported nicely, that actually being in the chest voice, you flip up into the head, but you're anchored in a way. So it allows you to feel the two of them as actually being closer to you versus down here and then I'm up here. And so it makes everything feel that it's right here. And I think also from an aural perspective, it's quite an interesting change in the timbre, the registration that can be quite harrowing in certain moments of an aria, especially here. Yeah.
And as someone who was just recently started to learn how to sing chest voice properly, it's not, chest voice is not chest voice is not chest voice. The way that it's performed, the way that it's technically done. Like when I first came to Chelsea, you were referencing a more musical theater type of chest voice, which to me, I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I don't listen to musical theater. How is that possible?
Right. Because there's chest voice that people use in musical theater, and then there's chest voice that we use in opera singing, and there's just so many different registrations, and there's a lot of different positions of the larynx depending on what style of music you're singing. So chest voice is not chest voice. It's not chest voice.
And the way that she, even if she's not coming out of chest voice, on these higher notes, you hear this sort of like, it's not a glottal, you almost like
she definitely type of
thing.
And that's a little bit of compression. And the glottal, and this we'll also talk about in the end when she floats that stunning, is it A flat at the end? Yeah, spoiler alert. And that is definitely due to some good glottal onsets. And again, the glottal, variations on a theme keeps you in the same place. So sometimes in modern singing we hear people singing above the instrument or trying to sing into the palate or into the head without really being in the instrument. All this stuff happens as a result. So a glottal will get you a nice efficient onset essentially.
Yeah. I want to just repeat one quick thing. That thing where she switches from chest ahead and then bring something else up.
Almost crooning here.
It's and that this is what you're talking about, that ability. It seems so surprising that she's able to go into this like intense pianissimo after this outburst of volume and sound and emotion, but it's because what you're saying that she's
so close to herself.
So it's just all right here that she's able. It's not, she's not going anywhere. She's not like pushing any sound out. It's just.
In fact, she used to say that in lessons. Where are you going? Where are you going? Just you somewhere else. Go back into your instrument. And this really reminds me when she does this sort of this very piano singing. It's like a coo or a croon or a. I mean, it's just such a small feeling.
Yeah. And the writing for the E tu sei morta senza sapere quanto t'amava questa tua mamma, these where she's going up into these higher notes. It's also just this like stunning writing from Puccini that is like these kind of waves of grief, almost as if she's like
undulating.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Like realizing in this moment what's happening, because it's really like, I want to say 2-3 minutes before that
she just found out.
She just found out in some productions, the aunt like helps her sign the paper to sign away her inheritance and like just break all contact.
What a family.
Because she's just so broken. She can't do it herself. No. Like, I'll just do it for you,
And it's from that, then, he starts with those hollow chords in the beginning of like, she's in shock, I think.
Yes.
And then we start to get It's
almost like as if you know, what she's here. Maybe something's happening, or just
in the background.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe
She's
like that has this kind of
bit.
like you don't, when you're in shock, like you don't experience
and this is what
the
I mean
world
about
in a normal way.
Puccini just understanding the human condition.
Yeah.
Just in such a special way.
Yeah. And to that point, Forzano, the librettist Gioacchino Forzano, he presented Suor to Puccini as the purgatory in the triptych, because he was also thinking of the
Holy Trinity.
And the comedy of Dante.
Yeah.
Puccini was going off to, you know, the I want to say buitenland, was going abroad to look for you know, inspiration for a story, religious story, and Forzano was like, ma che cazzo fai, you know, like we have it here in Dante and Dante's Alighieri.
You're really showing your trombetta
Thank you.
now.
So Suor being this purgatory, which makes so much sense when I heard that was his kind of concept
interesting.
for
I
it.
didn't know
She's
that.
like, it's, and then Skiki would be heaven, because it's
Ridiculous.
of course. And I think Tabato would kind of be hell, maybe, like, could be. He didn't write it, but you know, you could argue it. Stop it there, because it's a new section of the aria. We get a much more hopeful feeling. She completely changes to focus on her son, who she can't see, although in a second she thinks that she can feel him there. And it could also be the first time that she thinks about doing something about it, for lack of better words, about, you know, not being here anymore. And I almost forgot about it, but when I was looking at this again, she says, right after she poisons herself, she says, "Ah, son dannata, I'm damned. I can't be with him because I
kill myself." Then
right. And I think it's this like added layer that I am not a religious person, and I almost missed it, and I think that could really like go over some people's head because it's just not thinking about it. It's a cardinal sin, right? To do that.
Yep. She's a person whose freedom has been taken away due to one mistake, or who even knows what happened, right? In this situation, I mean, you know, historically we know of so many times where, you know, whatever happened to the woman, it was her fault, right? And so she's damned her whole life, and she can't live or die, essentially. And my God, it's just so depressing.
Purgatory.
Yeah, it is purgatory. That's the literal purgatory of it. So true.
Crazy.
Yeah. Excellent mixing into the chest voice.
Okay. I'm sorry, I had to stop it.
Something I wanted to say earlier too is that I think with this more major section is a little tiny bit of madness, in the sense of like she's reminiscing about him, but I think she's also like dissociating maybe, and then we go into this kind of like little bit of, this is by no means a mad scene, and I'm not saying she's mad, but I think there's a little bit of just like, dissociation and stuff happening.
Definitely.
Here.
Definitely. I mean, well, I'll have the subtitles. Right now we're not looking at subtitles, but she's saying that, he's an angel in heaven and you're here and I can feel you. That's why c'est qui.
Exactly.
Which, can I just say, I just love the way that she does that, because it feels so real. And other times I've seen people like walking back and forth on the stage, like going like this. And I'm like,
you can't, it's just like with crazy, I think of Lucia's mat scene. You can't play crazy.
No.
You have to play devastated, or you have to play. And so I think, again, this is where DIana Soviero shines, because she's so authentic as a human. Yeah. She doesn't need to have hysterical antics. She is showing us the devastation because she's feeling it. She's conjuring it up.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have to do a whole lot of extra things.
Right. I mean, that's something we learn in like acting class or whatever at conservatory. If you play the mood, you're doomed, right?
Exactly.
Because you just, it becomes ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. It's a parody of it, essentially. Her husband, again, a director and amazing acting coach, used to say, "Don't commit acting." And I just loved that. That's right. Don't commit acting. This person's committing acting.
I'm obsessed with that.
Be a person. Be a human. Don't commit acting. I will always quote him on that.
So
but
good.
I've stolen that from him. It's amazing. It's the best thing ever.
I want to just look at it one more time. 220 to 240. I wrote it down because it's just so beautiful. And she never. There's a little bit of quote unquote air when she says "c'est qui," but it's not because she's adding air to the text in order to like do something with it, which is something that I see a lot of people do, and I do. I'm also guilty of this. Or you think it's this kind of this effect, and you think, oh, the air will make it more dramatic, or the air will make it, fill in the blank. She doesn't need that, and it comes back later when she says "morire" 3 times. There's none of that. None of that.
She's in her body. She's in her body. Good. She's so embodied, like we talk about in our lessons.
The way that she just, it's just, and it's so, I can't handle it. She has also this melancholy like flavor in the voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's so pretty. I think it's perfect for Suor. We turned on the fan, you guys. So if you see
if you see these beautiful, glamorous.
We've reset. We've had a snack because we. And let's keep going.
Wait, can I literally chew while we're doing this? Hold on.
Hey, look at us. Are we singers or what?
That's why people are like, "Can I offer you something to drink?" I was like, "I have my water bottle."
I know that always happens. I do it to be nice, but I know you have
prepared.
water. Here we go. I think yes.
It'd be like, why is there a windstorm in the? In the throat.
Okay, because we're going to talk about technique for a second.
It's my favorite topic. Can we?
Because what Chelsea really brought me is this, like, active use of the diaphragm and active use of the air.
And the connection to the low abdominal muscles.
Yes, and I feel like in this part, you really see her, like, you see this happening.
100%. She's going all the way down from her lower abdominals, and then sort of, as we talk about this vomito idea of vomiting the breath. And she's 100% embodying that. And good for you for noticing. Good student, A+. You got A+ today.
So if you just notice right before she comes back in for this one note, there's this movement, and that's what's happening. Let me see if we can get it.
Oh, it's like that kind of feeling. She does a tiny catch of that, right? To just get her back and...
So, is that also... Would that be something that she would do if she's feeling like she's off, or what is that?
No,
or is that
more of an
interpretation?
expressive thing. Yeah. But you could also do that if you feel like she's not.
Like, so a tenor, for example, who was going up to a high C. Yeah. But you hear a lot of the hooking.
Mm-hmm. She would tell me stories of whatever famous person she was singing with, usually a male singer, either a tenor or a baritone. She would say they'd give a little kick. And what that does is it actually creates a compression. Well, there's like a suction sort of feeling. And then you're just singing right on that. It's really fun and cool.
Life-changing.
Yeah, I use it in my own singing and my teaching.
It's crazy. The first time I did it, I was like, what is this sorcery?
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'm now with my body. Like, I feel like I was a singing head before.
Mean.
Uh-huh. We're clearly having no fun doing this at all. No. This is torture.
I feel it's really weird, like, as we're laughing going into the...
I know, right? Well, yeah, but okay, let's just talk about how we need some levity, because this is so sad.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah.
This is why they had Skeeky. We're being the Skeeky.
We're the Skeekies.
We're the Skeekies.
That'll be the title.
Actually, that's a really funny name for a podcast, the Skeekies. You've seen it here. History in the making.
Oh, man. Maybe the snacks were a bad idea.
You literally had crackers.
Okay, here we go. Okay, pull it together.
Back to this. Take me to church.
Okay. This is what I was talking about, all the 3 different morieres that she does.
Yeah, right.
It's just so... And that pianissimo is not written on the A flat. I'm like 98% sure it's not written.
Okay, I can't remember actually at this point.
But it's always surprising to me that she does that for some reason, like that diminuendo. And that's always the thing that gives me goosebumps, is when a singer does something I'm not expecting. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God, like...
Exactly.
I hadn't thought of that. Like...
And it's very... it shows a lot of restraint. Like, she's not giving everything to you just yet.
Yes.
She's kind of... not making you wait for it, but like there's pacing involved.
Right. I mean, that's a good point, because a lot of the perhaps stagecraft that there is, not just with acting or singing or whatever, just kind of across the board, is that you have to have levels. There's kind of like duality in it. You both want to have the people like kind of moving forward and like asking what you're going to do next, figuratively.
Keeping them on the edge of their seats.
Yes, so exactly. But you also want to make them feel safe.
Absolutely.
Which is a weird, like, and you would think they're kind of like, they're just letting it sort of wash over them, and like in that sense they feel safe. But like, there has to be this tension.
What she's showing us is that she herself is being vulnerable, so that we as an audience member can be vulnerable and be in our own vulnerability. And I think that's like one of the biggest jobs of an artist. Mm-hmm. Also one of the hardest jobs, I think. Yeah. How hard is it to be vulnerable in front of your 10,000 of your closest friends?
Did she ever talk about like stage fright, or how she like prepared for a performance? Like, did she have...
I don't believe I've ever heard her talk about stage fright. She always was overly prepared. She knew every note, every word, everybody else's line, all the text. I mean, she just...
Yeah, I mean, that's what I read, but it would also because she, A, wanted to be prepared, and B, like, was afraid of making a mistake. Yep. Because she had, like, dyslexia or attention disorders. Yeah. Which I fully understand. I'm kind of like, oh, man, I almost wish I had that, so I was motivated to be that prepared.
Well, yeah. I think there's, she always felt she had to work extra hard to make up for that. And so she would show up pretty much memorized, but, like... knowing everything on the score because she didn't want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure, though.
It's a lot
if you think about that.
That's a lot of pressure. All right, we're almost to the end. We're talking a lot, so I don't want to hear any comments about it. I know. If you want to watch the aria, I'm going to link Diana's the full opera of Suor Angelica with DIana Soviero singing Suor Angelica in the description box. So you can go watch that, either just the aria, the final scene, or the entire opera, which I recommend that you do because it's great.
It's beautiful.
I think we're just going to watch
to the end.
And we're now into this kind of almost like the third section of this aria. Puccini starts with, the kind of devastation part and moves into the section where she's very hopeful. She sees her son, and we get a lot of accompaniment from the harps instead of kind of these more hollow chords with the cor anglais and the flute and all the things that we talked about. And now we move into this almost like a funeral dirge, like in the bass syncopation. Dun, 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 and it's
very ominous.
Yes, it's very ominous, and you feel either what's coming or what she's feeling, and that's the foreshadowing is just. Wait, we gotta see all those morieres again. And that she lets it get ugly for a second.
She's never afraid to do that because it's raw. It's authentic. I mean,
it surprises me every single time. Every single time. I don't understand it. Like,
I need a drink. I'm just like, oh my God.
The other thing that, this is going to sound funny, but the other thing that it's not just that it's the most concentrated thing that you've ever heard. There's absolutely no air on it. It's so easy. It's just like
no
living.
Distraction.
It really reminds me of that reel. I'll put it in here in a second. Of when we worked on La Cloche, the ending. That was an F.
It's the same thing.
But it's the same thing, and it's right here with her, and it's just spinning, and she doesn't choke it out at the end.
Oh God, no.
Like a lot. Even if people sing like good pianissimi, I see it's like, oh.
Right.
That doesn't happen.
Exactly. Because it's inside of her, right? She's not away from it. She's not searching for it. She's not above it. She's not lightening up to get the piano. The piano is so close to her. It's right at the edge of her throat, essentially, right? Cue Pavarotti clip.
Yeah, exactly.
It's right there. And so, of course, when she stops, she's still there. She's not coming down from some other place.
So is that kind of, that almost coughing it up, is that a sign that someone's doing something extra, or is it an effect? It could also be an effect.
It could be an effect as well,
Yeah.
but it's an inefficiency, I think, is what's happening. We talk a lot about efficiency in singing, and an efficient sound is generally going to be your most beautiful sound, your most resonant sound, all of that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, this has no distraction. This has no, it's just so authentic.
Yeah.
And it's so inside of her. And this is something we talk a lot about in singing lessons, right? Is not searching for your instrument. She's already there. This is what Diana taught me. If you're looking for it, then you're disconnected from it, essentially.
Yeah. And that happens all the time.
And so no better demonstration than literally what she just did was...
Yeah. Right before she goes up to that, is it an A flat or an A? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I think it's an A flat. It doesn't matter.
I literally have the score right here. That is true.
Here, I can check real quick while you're talking.
She has this. You could almost say, if I didn't know any better, I would think that it was off the voice.
A natural.
It's an A natural.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she has these E's. Speak to me, Jesus Christ. Parla me. But as soon as she starts to go into the amore, you realize that it was a color. That she was like absolutely choosing to have it be this much thinner, much thinner thing.
Ethereal.
That she was, yes, much more ethereal than amore, and then to build up to the
And then you see a very slight glottal onset.
She goes, okay, we have to watch it again. Because talk about why she would not connect it.
Oh, because it's treacherous. It's an M going up. You're stuck.
But couldn't you theoretically separate them and still connect the sound?
But that's what she's doing with the glottal.
Oh, okay.
Look and you'll see.
Okay.
I don't know if I should be giving away her secrets. But...
It just lasts forever.
Because she's just right there. Do it for 100 years. She's a slight delay.
That is the cool thing about high notes as well. You could sing them for when they're hooked up.
Oh, when they're in the right place. They're easy. It's efficient.
Yes. That's what's so funny to me about when people are like, oh, you held it for so long. I was like, that wasn't the hard part.
That was not the hard part.
I mean, this is crazy. And in a second, we will be speaking with Diana herself.
Live virtually.
Sort of.
She's alive in New York and we're alive here. So.
And with that,
famed Italian-American soprano Diana Soviero. She's joining us from New York City. She is my mentor and voice teacher and second mother, opera mom extraordinaire. And we're so glad that she can be here with us today to talk about Suor Angelica.
I'm very happy to be here with you, beautiful ladies and daughter, Chelsea. And it's a pleasure to finally meet you, really. I've heard so much about you and your work and everything about opera in the past and opera of the future. And without people like you and Chelsea, I don't know what will happen with our fabulous work. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so funny to meet someone that I talk about on the vlog and on my Instagram. If I did a little history of Diana Soviero on Instagram, and I heard that some people showed it to you.
She had seen it, and I showed it to you when we were at.
Does anybody talk on it? Does anybody answer you?
No, people comment and things like that.
It got a lot. There are so many people commenting like, "Oh, that's my teacher. She's the best," and it's very sweet.
Yep.
So I'm honored and flattered that you would want to speak with us today, because we just got done filming the Aria Explained, as I like to call them, of Senza Mamma from your performance in 1987 in Madrid. And it's an overwhelming performance. I mean, it's an overwhelming role. Yes. And we'd love to get a little bit of your insight as to how you approach not only Suor Angelica or Senza Mamma, but singing in general.
As Chelsea knows, and you know that I'm now teaching, to try to describe the work that I did in preparation. I mean, I didn't even touch Madame Butterfly for about 5 years. I mean, I knew the piece, I knew the music, I knew everything, but I had to really know that I was vocally equipped to handle the role. And I kept bringing it to my teachers. I'm sure Chelsea told you. And my teacher just said, no, you're not ready. And one day I got to the duet with Suzuki, and I started to cry. And my teacher said, close the book, you're not ready. And I said, but I'll finish it. I just was a little emotional. She says, no, darling, you don't understand. You have to make your audience cry. You have to be in the role so far that you can completely take your own feeling and put it into your voice. And I closed the book and kept bringing it to the lesson. And to make a long story short, one day I had it in my briefcase and she asked me if I carried the score with me that day. And I said, yes, I have it. I always have it. I said, well, open the score and let's go through it now. And I got to the end where Butterfly says, va gioca, gioca, and then she commits suicide. I look up and my teacher was crying and Maestro Rich was crying. And she closed the book and she says, now you have permission. I want the first tickets at the Metropolitan Opera. But it took that long. And when I tell my students that you can't start right away and then think you're going to perform, you don't even digest anything. And I don't know whether it's because of, I asked my Vanessa, Chelsea, about this. So she said, Diana, it's very easy to understand. Today it's an era of point and click. You have everything right there at your service. They think by doing that, they're learning the character, they're learning the music, they're learning. I mean, I remember singing Traviata and asking my doctor, I never had tuberculosis. How would I act? Do I have a fever? He said, Diana, you always have a fever. You have a very low grade fever, so you're flushed. So I said, so why is everybody pale when they come out? So when I did it the first time, I think it was Franco Zeffirelli, I said, I'm going to put a little red rouge here. And then I want a rag, a handkerchief to wipe myself because I'm perspiring. And he said, Diana, thank you. And these little things today, Chelsea tries to teach all of the students have to know these little idiosyncrasies of characterizations, of voice, how to color, how to make no vibrato when you're sick, how to
inhabit the character.
And then slowly vibrate. And first time I did it, I thought the conductor was going to faint. But anyway, I asked him, I said, is it okay if I do that? And he said, Diana, do it. So these are things that you girls are teaching. Chelsea, I know that everybody talks about you, honey. And I thank you for doing this for me because I can't be around forever.
Someone's got to take the torch, pass it on.
Take the torch and pass it on because my teachers all knew the Garcia method of pianissimi, sforzando. What is really appoggiare, appoggia. It doesn't mean push out and stay there. It means to go and come back and over. Yes. And all these things today, hopefully, as I said before, they don't take the time, I don't think. Maybe I'm a little bit.
No, I think it's true. I think people are very eager to make a sound, but they don't always take the steps and have the restraint to really live through something, to really slowly do something and nurture something.
We were just talking about this in the filming, that there's so much that teaching feels backwards right now, that people come in with like Dei Fieni non tarar, or
they
don't
do
know,
some
O mio
aria.
bambino caro or something, that's in the first year of their bachelor. And Pavarotti, and I think you as well, were told not to be singing basically no arias. It was just this very simple, like learning the basics.
Learn how to trill.
Learn how to trill. Oh
Learn
my
how to sing
god.
pianissimo. I always talk about your first teacher who said sing piano for like 3 years. You sing some trills for 3 years, and then you start to learn. Yeah.
And every lesson started with because that trains the instrument.
Exactly.
So you have the automatic, you make the trill.
Exactly.
It's those two moves of your tongue. But now everybody, relax. Keep it down.
No, see,
Yeah.
she knows. She hears me complain
Hey,
about
for
this.
really? Oh, that's nice. If you want to sing like Al Capone, maybe, you know. But this is what I don't understand, because I remember even in Suor Angelica, you have that high C and salva me, and you know everybody was salva. So Maestro said, "Can you say salva me, Diana?"
You know where I get it from now. This is literally what I say in the lessons.
So I said, "Yes, don't worry, I'll get it." And I
live on my
found
shoulder.
where that was, right down here in the larynx.
Yeah.
In the vocal cords, in the cudiglotte. Nobody talks about the epiglottis opening and closing. If we don't know how to use it, we'll choke on our...
That was the question that you asked. She said something, and we're going to get to this, but she said right at the end of Senza Mamma, when you float that stunning high A, she said, wow, look how effortlessly she comes off of the note. She doesn't or
Like
choke
kind
or
of
anything.
like choke it up.
Because you're so... And I explained technically what's happening. You said she's so in the instrument,
adjustment.
so connected.
It's an adjustment vocally of, for instance, if you have to do... Parlami, amore, amore. The A's are opened and closed by the epiglottis. But I can't say because you can't do it.
Exactly.
So you can't do it. So what I did was I had to reopen to let filo di voce, because when your epiglottis is open, you can control how much air you want to escape.
83 years old, ladies and gentlemen, she can still sing.
You can adjust in 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Sorry, she's not used to hearing that someone who's 83 can still sing. I'm so used to it, so she's freaking out over here.
How to study a role like Suor Angelica. And as I said in Butterfly, when I started to cry, which I did many times in Suor Angelica, even on stage, I remember, dammi un segno di grazia, dammi un segno di grazia. Give me a sign. Give me a sign. It reminded me of my childhood. Give me a sign. Give me a sign. And I would start to cry, and then I said to myself, I have to control myself here. So with that sign, I said, think backwards, Diana. Think more internally. Let your voice be external. And I think that's how I got through all those, my God, so many performances and then, of course, singing the Tritico with all three of them. And then the last one was always Suor Angelica, because even Maestro Levine, we used to put Suor Angelica in the middle, and then had Gianni Schicchi à la fin, at the end. And I remember when Bernard, my husband, directed it, he put Suor Angelica at the end. Because my husband said, Diana, it will end. Bernard always said it will end better when the curtain comes down. It's final. It's final. Yeah.
So you did all three of the soprano roles in the Tritico.
Yes. Yeah. Very difficult to do. Tabarro, and Tabarro. and then come in, oh, mio bambino. After killing yourself in Suor Angelica.
Yeah.
So it was like a little bit of, in fact, when I did it, there were only 3 of us that did it, and they were all sopranos with S's. Sills, Scotto, Soviero. We were the only 3 that had really done at that time. And then it was Stratas, and then Maria tried to do it. And then I think it was maybe, it wasn't that she couldn't do it vocally because she was fabulous. Teresa Stratas, not Marie, Teresa Stratas. And I think the reason I got to do those at the Metropolitan Opera was because it was, I think, too internal for Teresa
Maybe.
to handle. And she couldn't do it. But she used to sit sage right on the floor and listen to me sing. And we're very good friends.
That's so
To this
beautiful.
day, she would just sit there
love
on the floor, stage right, and I used to look at her on the side. Yeah. It
I love her Mimi.
in those days,
love her Mimi.
we colleagues, it was so different. I don't know. The respect and the love,
So that's a nice segue to one of my other questions about, well, it's sort of the industry as a whole, as we sort of like group everything together in the way that we speak about it. But I've spoken to, older singers, like the sort of people who aren't singing anymore, or who still are, but maybe shouldn't be. But they talk about that the industry looks so different today than it did when, they were up and coming, or they were just sort of getting started. And I have always wondered what exactly people mean by that. And I'm wondering if you can shed a little bit of light on that for me.
I think 2 words: too fast. Everything is too fast. We had more time. I did not have interference with the internet. I did not have my phone. I did not have. I don't know how I remembered everything. We didn't have tape. We didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to go to the library, translate every word, every feeling, every sentence.
And
Today,
that's the preparation.
Mm-hmm.
all that preparation is not there. And it's fast. They want to already at 23 sing God knows what. And they don't train the voice for that. Now, I speak only for myself, and Chelsea has an instrument like mine. My voice loved to do crazy things. It loved to do style and churns and appoggi. How long can I hold that note without distressing? How can I jump and scare everybody? How can I do that? So I wanted to do these things, to be a little treacherous, and that's what drove me into the Verismo repertoire. Because it's treacherous. It's real life. You can't fool around.
Exactly.
You have to know what the heck's going on.
So did you sort of see this happening, like feel that the industry was shifting? I mean, I saw in a different interview that you did that Beverly Sills had talked to you about the sort of like potential disintegration of the industry.
We were doing, Beverly and I were doing Merry Widow together. And we were in a dressing room before the show, and we would always talk. She'd be playing cards and doing crossword puzzle with a pen, not a pencil. A pen. That's how smart she was. And
That's a confident crossword puzzle experience.
And then we'd be yakking away, and she'd say, "You know what, Di, you're going to see the art form, Di." And what? I said, "Are you kidding me?" "Oh yeah, you'll see it. I won't be here, Diana, but you will see it disintegrate. It will be gone. The art form." And I said, "Beverly, we can't let that happen. That's not right. We have to know that this has to go on and on and on." And it's happened. Sorry. But I don't I don't really indulge.
To make her. Why did she say? What made her say that then?
I don't know, because already she saw things diminishing. I guess hearing singers, because she was then the boss of City Opera and she was still singing.
Yeah.
And she
gave
must have
you your
been
break, right?
auditioning and not hearing the
What she
sounds
wanted,
we
yeah.
made. I mean, we never had rehearsal. At City Opera,
Right.
we made our debuts with no rehearsal. No orchestra rehearsal, no staging rehearsal, no nothing.
You just went on stage.
Uh-huh. That's right. And I'll never forget my first audition, my first performance at the City Opera, New York City Opera. There was a strike. And they called me. I was shopping for boots in the mall. And they left a message, like 30 messages on the house phone, because we had that machine, the answering machine.
Yeah.
Where are you? What are you up to? Where are you? You've got to sing tonight. I go, where? What?
Can you
So right away,
imagine?
my husband said, you have to go on? What? Okay, don't worry. I'll make you pasta. So right away, the cure for all was spaghetti. So he made me a dish of pasta. I put on my makeup, got in the car, vocalized in the car, got there. Thank God that nosy Diana, before the strike, I was at the rehearsal in the back, watching the
Furba.
staging with my pad and pencil. 28 props in the Commedia. Frank Corsaro production. Okay?
I'm gonna get a tape recorder and you just talk. We're just gonna leave it
my
there.
goodness. The
for days.
performances. Holding up the set in Traviata while I'm singing Sempre Libera. The fireplace was falling. And I'm holding it up. Estrano! Estrano
This is my favorite.
We were talking about a lot of technique and this simplicity that you bring to the role. This sort of
Well, we were talking about authenticity that you bring to the role. That, because she was saying we've seen productions where it's like, I'm hallucinating that the child is there and it's all crazy. And the thing that I found about this performance that we watched of yours is that it wasn't a spectacle. It was so internal. It was so authentic and visceral that you can't help but feel the vulnerability as the person listening. And so I think what we were saying is how do you get into that headspace before you do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, how do you I feel like you say, now everything's so fast, everything's like, I mean, I'm in social media a lot, and it's like, it has to be like,
It's quick.
big and quick and controversial and
Attention getting.
And I mean, it was much less, of course, in 1987 when you were doing this, but I think even then there was probably this idea that, it has to be, opera is a spectacle and we have to like make it has to be this grand thing.
Yeah.
And letting, the music be enough, and trusting your own voice to embroider it, apparently, is how you describe
I always
it.
saw you would say you're embroidering, because she said something similar, and I said that's what Diana said. She would embroider. It was this, which is such a beautiful analogy.
That's
because
the
it's
education of legato.
the red of air.
Is to stay on the breath. To stay.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean to sit on it. It means to use it. To use it to weave up and down and in and out. It's like sewing. You go down, you come up, you pull. You go down, you come up, and you embroider. Then you can move, and then you can bring it up and down. That's appoggiare and legato. But I was also, you have to remember this, and I tell Chelsea this all the time. For 43 years of marriage, I was married to one of the greatest directors I've ever known, and that's my husband, Bernard Uzan.
I spoke a bit about Bernard.
And when I was performing, because he directed my first Suor Angelica, and when I did
that
it,
I didn't know.
and you have to understand that my husband is of the Jewish faith. And when I was singing, he said to me, Diana, make sure that you feel it first. You cannot sing something you don't feel. You have to chew food to taste it. You need to know that that feeling has to come digested. From that digestion, you have to tell us how you feel. Oh. So, Bernard, can I take a little more time here? He said, take as much time as you need, Diana. Stay within the music, but use those music intervals. Use those music things. It's like when Puccini writes Suor Angelica, he doesn't write big jumps. He writes small intervals, if you notice. They're very small and moving, embroideristic. They're very small moves. There's only that one last pianissimi, and in the duet with the Principessa, there's an anger that happens there. But it's in the music and it accompanies the voice. So it's not that I'm singing against it. I'm singing with that feeling, So all these things that young singers are to do when they learn to so-called act, which I don't think I ever acted. I don't like that word, acting. I always trusted the word react. Because if I reacted to something or to my colleague, I was able to send back an action. So I kept that as a study for being on stage. And I knew that I would act differently if my colleague was not feeling well, because he would do a gesture a little differently. And I couldn't act or react to the one I did when he was well or she was well. I had to react, oh, really?
In the moment.
In the moment. And I had to do that. And that's when I really learned how to react.
I told Anna about Bernard's comment, don't commit acting, Exactly. And so I think it's that very concept.
That's a lesson.
Of
that should
reacting.
be a title of a book. Do not commit acting. Because everybody goes, I'm acting. No. If you do that, you're fake, because you're not listening to what the other person is saying. So you're by yourself on stage, doing your own thing. I had, in my day, I had colleagues of mine who always had one gesture on a high note, one other gesture on that note. And I always knew, here comes the right arm going up, here comes it. And I knew that when I was there, I had to have in my mind, I don't know if I ever told you this, Chelsea, surtex, like words in my mind that he should have said to me. That I used when he was not acting, when he was not listening to me. I used a subtext, like for instance, I'm going to say it out loud, but I'm going to say it like I would be thinking, what do you mean? And already my face would go, what do you mean? It retracts. If I say, what do you mean? That's not a question. But
no,
what
that's
do
different.
you mean by that? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I understand. But I can't do that. I have to think that, so that what he was saying to me, I go, oh, really? Uh-huh. That's right. And then I reacted to my subtext. That's selfish in a way. But it was the only way I could survive.
Yeah,
they're not giving you anything.
They're not giving you something.
Is to react to that action that wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So I was almost committing an act, but reacting to my action. That makes any sense.
It's very meta.
Yeah.
Very meta.
Yeah. That's what I love about, really a lot of great actors, a lot of great singing actresses and actors, that they have, you can almost taste the subtext. You can feel that there's something else going on than just what they're literally saying or singing. And it just informs so much more of the color and the timbre, and you don't get this kind of overindulgent, just enjoying the
Yeah,
sound.
their own sound.
You get a story and you get a character, and yeah, it's wonderful to watch, and it surprises you as well. I mean, so many times in the Senza Mamma that we watched, you do something that I'm like, what? And it gives it gives goosebumps, right? It surprises you, and it gives a different idea of what we thought, where we thought it was going to go, or what we thought Suor Angelica was thinking.
It's something that I don't know if, Chelsea, this comes up all the time to me anyway, teaching. I don't know how to teach that. I think if that is not somehow instinctive, and for you now to know that, to try to let them know that they have to have instincts. They have to have, like I say a lot of times, I'm going to give you permission to make a mistake.
That's what it is.
Give them permission to make a mistake. It's okay. You're in the studio. You're there to help them. If they make a mistake, they shouldn't feel, oh, I can't, no. I made 1,000 mistakes.
Same.
But how to get out of that mistake and make my audience think that I did that on purpose.
Right. Exactly.
That's what my teacher would say. She said, if you took a breath incorrectly, sigh a little bit and they'll think you did it on purpose.
Exactly. Totally. 100%.
I mean, it's all these impulses, right, that we don't expect to happen, or that we think, that's the worst thing that could happen on stage, that then you can turn into something else, right? It can just be, that's the beauty of live theater. And
this is what good teachers have to do today. And the style of singing, I don't know now. Everything is loud, and everything is loud. There's no such thing as controllare or pianissimi and filo di voce. They think the first words out of my student, but can they hear me? Honey, we never had mics. Today they got mics.
Yeah.
We never needed mics.
No. Yeah.
We had squillo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my teacher would say it again, Chelsea, I'm going to quote my voice teachers. If I break bones, not flesh, in singing.
Thank you so much, Diana.
Thank you,
it was
Diana.
lovely to meet you. I can't wait to meet you in person one day.
We'll get you to New York.
We'll do it.
Get ready.
Warn her, Chelsea.
I think I can handle
Chelsea,
it.
do
I'll
you
take
do
a
this?
lesson. Oh my God.
What was that? Anna, does she do this to you? What was that? No, what? What?
I do lots of things. You sit on my shoulder while
I
teach.
took a breath one time. She asked me to do something, and I was like, and she goes, no, stop.
Don't even. No, wait.
Because
My
I
teacher
knew
would
as
say-
soon as you took the breath, I was like, it's not
It's
going
not gonna happen.
It's gonna work. My teacher would
work.
stop me in midair. I said, I didn't even do anything. She goes, good. I saw it was
Yeah.
going to be wrong.
Addio, addio, speranza, addio.